course, is never wear a tie, and he's 100% consistent on that one.
We're lucky he's wearing a shirt.
Yeah. The officials tonight: Joe DeRosa, Kip Kissinger, and Bert Smith. The first of two with the Mountaineers and the Gators still to come later tonight from Madison Square Garden here in New York City. Oklahoma and Notre Dame to get us started here in game one. And it'll be the Sooners controlling the opening tip.
Notre Dame starting off the game in man-to-man. Notre Dame has been a surprisingly good defensive team to start this season.
The leading scorer for Oklahoma, number 0, Christian James, up at over 19 points per game as the Sooners miss their first shot, and back come the Irish. Key guy here, senior leader Rex Pfluger. You know, Mike Bray alluded to, you know, he's kind of raising the pups, raising the kids this year on this Irish team.
Well, he's the best defender, I believe, on this Notre Dame team, but the guy who's got to put up points is this guy, TJ Gibbs.
The runner a little bit off balance, left it short. Mooney working hard on the glass. Couple of opportunities, and then he kicks it out.
Boy, John Mooney's done a great job on the glass to start this year. More of a stretch 5. He can really shoot the ball from the perimeter.
Prentice Hub and the lefty misses the jumper. Another offensive rebound for Mooney.
Boy, Notre Dame really moves the ball well.
DJ Harvey, no, and finally Oklahoma protects the defensive glass.
Oklahoma playing without Jamani McNeese, their top one of their top rebounders. Brady Manick right now is leading the team in rebounding, but without McNeese in there, they're much smaller, and so the glass is going to be a big issue for Oklahoma.
And there's a big shot in the early going for Brady Manick, the sophomore from Hera, Oklahoma, whose shot Jay has not been falling as often this year as it did last year.
Well, that was his 9th three-pointer on the season. He used 5 of his last 21 field goals before he knocked that down, but he shoots with such confidence, and he has really been rebounding the ball this year, averaging over 9 rebounds per game to start the season.
Knocked away by Christian Doolittle. Numbers for Oklahoma. James can't finish. And Pfluger brings it down for the Irish.
Boy, point blank 2 times for Oklahoma. What a pass in transition that was.
Mooney, the handoff back to Gibbs.
Gibbs, such a good driver.
Notre Dame trying to bounce back from an NIT berth season last year in which they suffered a tremendous number of injuries, and also moving on the likes of Bonzie Colson and Matt Farrell, terrific college players. So this is really a brand new look for Notre Dame this year.
Well, it's the youth, and everybody in a different spot than they were last year. The only guys that are really playing similar roles are TJ Gibbs and Rex Pfluger.
Gibbs thought about it. Now we'll do more than that. And does not get the bounce. Mooney almost went over the back. Mooney, by the way, in this game already has 6 rebounds, and we're less than 3 minutes in.
He's been Moses Malone, getting his own like 3-4 times.
Here's one of the grad transfers in the starting lineup for Oklahoma, Aaron Calixte, grad transfer from Maine, and he turns it over on a travel.
Take a look at Brady Manick here. A little horn set. They set a screen up at the top, and then it was just a little fade screen after the ball screen. Really effective, and anytime you let Brady Manick catch and shoot with that much time, he's going to knock that thing down. He's got a little Larry Bird look going with that hair and a little stash.
Well, maybe defenders are fixated on that Larry Bird doppelganger thing he's got going on.
I don't think most of the guys know what Larry Bird looked like when he played. They should, but they probably don't.
French Lick, Indiana. DJ Harvey. The drive, but he comes up a little bit short, and back comes Oklahoma.
DJ Harvey tried to avoid the block shot instead of just going up and getting fouled.
Which is what James did right there. He just went up hard, and it pays off for him, and it's 5-0 Sooners.
Last year, Christian James was primarily a shooter, and he is much more than that this season, averaging about 19 points per game. And you asked him before the game, hey, what's made the difference this year? And he said confidence, because he lived on the gun all summer. It's a shooting device. And there's John Mooney again with another stick back. You got to box him out.
7th rebound, first bucket. And then Pfluger called for an unpopular foul, at least in the eyes of the Notre Dame bench, down at the other end.
Well, he got clean up top, unless he hit Miles Reynolds with the body. That was about as clean as it gets up top. Yeah, he got him with the body.
Yep. And at the line is the other grad transfer from Oklahoma, Miles Reynolds. Came from Pacific, originally a Chicago kid, and he's the guy starting in the place of McNeese, although it's not position for position. As you mentioned, they're a much smaller team, although they just got a little bit bigger. As 6'11", 267-pound Hannes Pola from Finland checks into the game.
Miles Reynolds has done a really good job for Oklahoma on this young season. Last couple games, he's averaging 17 points a game, and he can really get to the foul line. Last 2 games, 17 of 20 from the free throw line.
He'll sit down, and the senior Rashard Odoms will come in now for Oklahoma. Lon Kruger's playing about 10 guys. They are fairly deep right now, and it seems in talking to all 4 of these coaches today, they're all still feeling it out a little bit, Jay, in terms of roles and responsibilities on their teams.
Yeah, their teams are all so different than what they had last year. So everybody's still trying to work it out a little bit. But one of the things you like about this Oklahoma team is 1 through 4 right now on the floor. They can switch everything and have thus far in the possession.
Mooney with a corner 3. He's doing it all right now for the Irish.
Well, that's going to be a difficult matchup for Pola because Mooney can take Pola 25 feet out and knock shots down. He also can shot fake and drive. And that's going to be a difficult thing for Pola to deal with.
Mooney with 5 points and 7 rebounds already in this game.
Good ball movement by Oklahoma.
And the 3 will go down for Jamal Bieniemy, a freshman from Katy, Texas.
Bieniemy leads this Oklahoma team in steals. He was sort of a, I guess you'd call him a late bloomer in high school, but he's long, he's athletic, and he is really on the come. He's going to be an excellent player.
DJ Harvey, back from microfracture surgery on his knee last January, misses the runner, but back come the Sooners. The Irish, other than Mooney, very cold in the early going, just 2 for 12 overall.
Attacking a little too early in the clock on that one. Need to move the ball, get it to the other side of the floor. Great cut by Brady Manick. You know, oftentimes you see when there's penetration into the lane, and Oklahoma there won the paint, that sometimes shooters on the weak side will just stand there at the 3-point line. Well, Brady Manick did a great job of cutting, and that cut opened up a layup. See, he's out by the 3-point line. The drive went in the paint on the middle drive, and the great cut by Manick for 2. That was one of the toughest places to play, not only in the ACC, but in the country, and especially when Jim Valvano was coaching the Wolfpack. He was such a great coach, and we were talking on College Game Day before this game started that had Jim Valvano lived, he would have owned the broadcast business. It would have been him and Oprah.
Knocking down the 3 there is TJ Gibbs. Yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around, to quantify how personality he was and how he could own a room when he walked into it. Christian James answers with a 3 at the other end.
Notre Dame went to a little 2-3 zone, and Mike Ray will switch up his defenses. He'll put on a little tempo press, go back to his zone, but right out of the timeout he ran a nice little play. It was sort of a staggered drag screen up top, and it got TJ Gibbs open for a shot. They need to keep doing that. Gibbs needs to be able to knock some shots down.
Let's check in with Allison Williams.
During that last Oklahoma timeout, Lon Kruger talking a lot about keeping John Mooney off the boards. He said we need all 5 guys going to the glass and getting those rebounds, and then a reminder to keep communicating defensively.
Yeah, I'll give you a stat. John Mooney has as many rebounds as everybody else in the game combined on both teams.
Well, it shouldn't be too hard to clean that up. I mean, Mooney's a really good rebounder, but a number of them have been his own misses. And Oklahoma, Allison Williams made a great point. Like, rebounding on the defensive end is all 5 guys. Now, each coach can choose. Are they going to send 2 guys to the offensive glass, 3, whatever it is? But everybody on defense has to rebound before you jet out and go the other way.
Mike Bray's brought a couple of freshmen into the game, Nate Leshesky and Dane Goodwin, with a transfer from UConn, Jawan Durham, a good shot blocker. Gibbs has help, and it'll be Leshesky for the lay-in.
Boy, what a play by Rex Pfluger to grab that rebound, pivot, and get the ball out to start that break. That was a big play by Pfluger, the senior from California.
Durham called for the foul.
See, these are the kind of plays that don't really get into the box score. We just talked, Allison Williams just talked about 5 guys getting onto the defensive glass. Now, Pfluger's a guard. Goes down there among the trees, grabs that rebound, starts the break, and Leshesky gets an easy basket as a result of the work that Rex Pfluger did on the other end.
Yeah, guard rebounding probably isn't something that gets talked about enough. Nice 2-man game and a soft touch from Christian Doolittle.
Well, see, Dan, I think that big guy rebounding doesn't get talked about enough. It's all the guards. That's all we do is talk about guards. It's the big guys that make the difference. Miles Reynolds doing a good job on TJ Gibbs, but you go underneath, and that gives him an opportunity to pull the trigger.
Leschewski with a putback.
Right now, there are not box outs by Oklahoma. They are not putting a body on Notre Dame. Great block by Juwan Durham. You know, if he runs the court, screens, and protects the rim, he is a big factor in the ball game for Notre Dame.
Durham averaging 2.5 blocks per game in the early going this season. Notre Dame is closed within 5. Reynolds baseline takes a bump and gets fouled by Leschewski.
That was a smart play by Miles Reynolds. He saw that Leschewski didn't have the angle and just went into his body knowing he could draw that foul. It wasn't so much about getting the shot to go as much as it was getting to the free throw line.
Oklahoma 6-1 on the season. The only loss was to Wisconsin down to the Bahamas by 20. They beat Florida down there. They beat Dayton down there. They still have games coming up against Wichita State, USC, Creighton, Northwestern before Big 12 play. With only 10 teams in a true round robin, you know if you play in the Big 12, it's going to be tough sledding during conference play.
And I said this on College Game Day. I think Oklahoma's going to win more games this year than they did last year. You know, they won 18 games last year, went to the NCAA tournament. They're more balanced this year. They don't have the super explosive scoring ability of Trae Young, but they move the ball better. They move themselves better, and they're a better defensive team this year than they were last year.
Playing, as you mentioned, without Jimani McNeese tonight, so that's a loss in the front court for them. He's out with a foot injury right now and sitting with his foot in a boot on the Oklahoma bench.
And really, that dovetails nicely into V week. We need Jimani.
Prentice Hub, one of the 4 freshmen getting minutes for Notre Dame. High arcing jumper. Had to alter that shot a little bit because of the length and height of Manick.
Manick had switched off onto him, and Oklahoma will switch on just about everything.
Galixty off to Doolittle, can't finish, and another rebound for Leschewski.
Boy, you got to get those to go.
Well, it looked like Pfluger got caught in between. Am I passing to Goodwin or Durham? Durham got it and got the bucket.
Well, he was trying to get that ball, looked like to Hub, and then it still counts as an assist, though. Yes. He doesn't like the pass because it got away from him, but that's still an assist.
Now he gambles, tries to recover. James finds Manick in the corner, and a second 3 of the night for Brady Manick.
How about the awareness by Manick to step back behind the 3-point line? That was impressive. Well, he's having a really good year. Hasn't shot the ball to start the year as well as he's capable of. Just 8 for 31 from 3 coming into this one.
Pfluger over the top to Durham, and Rex Pfluger with another assist.
Boy, screen roll, when you do it right, is unguardable. Did it right around the elbow, and a terrific roll to the basket by Juwan Durham.
James no.
Boy, Durham with a good block out there on Doolittle. They're really moving this horn set up to give Prentice Hub even more room. Boy, Calixte does a great job of staying in front.
Pfluger trying to get around him. Kick out to Leschewski for 3. Pfluger had it, still has it. Goodwin is open for 3, and another assist for Rex Pfluger.
Rex Pfluger is outworking everyone on the floor. Quickest to the ball, he's physical. And right now he's got Christian James, the top scorer for the Sooners.
Yeah, Pfluger hasn't scored, but he might be the most important player that Notre Dame has had so far tonight. Strong drive and a lay-in for Doolittle. Hub got the switch. Then picked up his dribble, didn't try to take Manick.
Yeah, now he's a stationary player, but he can drive Manick if he gets the ball back. Put the ball on the deck and drive it.
8 to shoot, and some pressure will knock it out of bounds. It'll still be Notre Dame ball when we come back. Let the kids express themselves, Jim.
I'm letting them. Yeah. I think it's actually fantastic.
Mooney. What's that? 2 more rebounds and another bucket. They should give him credit for 2 there, which would be 9 rebounds already in the game. And 5 or 6 of them, as you said, are on his own misses.
And that's where Oklahoma really misses Jimani McNeese.
Nice follow by Christian James.
Well, Christian James is having a spectacular start to the season. He has really filled the scoring void left by Trae Young going into the NBA. And last year, the scouting report on Christian James was make him put it on the deck. You know, he's a shooter, spot-up shooter. That's the best thing he does. But he can really post as well, and he can put the ball on the deck. He's far more of a complete player this year.
Kalixti with a burst of speed, and he is fouled before he got the shot up. Now with Trae Young moving on to the NBA, obviously they were looking for others to step up in a larger role offensively, and as you can see from the numbers, James has definitely done that.
Well, he's really taken on a leadership role. He spent all summer just shooting. Yeah, he went home to Houston a little bit, but the rest of the summer he was in Norman, Oklahoma, at the University of Oklahoma, and he was on something they call the gun. It's a shooting machine. So instead of having somebody rebound for you, you got this gun machine does it, and it keeps kicking. It's like a tennis ball machine kind of, except for basketballs. And it's really an amazing thing for guys to be able to get up a ton of shots that are game shots.
The enemy back into the game for the Sooners. Deflected, stolen away by Hub.
And guess who? It was Rex Pfluger on the deflection. And Pfluger hasn't scored many points, just one, but he has been big time so far in this game.
His first field goal of the night brings the Irish back within 3. Tipped away by Mooney. And Mooney will get an easy one. Boy, a couple of good trips for the Irish.
Really good. Started off by Rex Pfluger and his defense. His defensive energy has been a big factor for Notre Dame getting back in this game, making it a 1-point ball game. But for Aaron Kalixti as a point guard, he cannot allow a 6'11" guy to, he can't show the ball to a big guy and have a big guy knock it away like that.
Pfluger doing a good job, and his energy is all riled up playing defense on James, trying to shut down Oklahoma's leading scorer. Corner 3, Bieniemy not there, and Mooney into double figures now with rebounds.
John Mooney's turned into Dennis Rodman.
Hub gets by Manick and gives Notre Dame the lead.
Notre Dame has been hanging in there, and the one guy who has not worried about a thing has been Mike Bray. And he is so confident in his team.
James, no. Well, I always harken it back to that 5 overtime game with Louisville. Remember, the more overtimes, the more timeouts they had, the calmer that Mike Bray seemed. He said, hey, this is fun, enjoy. Part of the fight against cancer. Meanwhile, you saw it behind the play, Brady Manick, and there's the inadvertent elbow coming down and hitting him in the side of the head and apparently cut him open, and he's bleeding right now as Manick has come out of the game and getting a little medical attention on the bench.
Just caught right above the eye, and that seems to bleed more than anything else. And hopefully Brady Manick's going to be okay, be able to come back into the ball game. A great trainer for Oklahoma, Alex Brown, taking care of him, and Alex has been at this close to 38 years and does as good a job as anybody in the business. Heck of a golfer too.
Which is really why you like him.
That's why everybody likes Alex.
Mooney with 9 points, 10 rebounds as Hub misses the 3.
Oklahoma's got to get the ball into the paint, whether by the pass or the drive. I think they got to start getting the ball a little closer to the basket.
They're going to try it here with Odoms. Can't bank it home. Offensive rebound, though. Going right back up, and somehow it'll go.
Well, Notre Dame's first shot defense pretty darn good, but they gave up the second shot opportunity, and Rashard Odoms, the lefty, got it to go. And Odoms hasn't been playing quite as much this year. He's only averaging 4 points a game, but he brings that older energy coming off the bench. He was a starter last year, primarily a driver, not a great shooter.
Member of the all-academic team a year ago in the Big 12. Notre Dame with the ball, down by 1. DJ Harvey gets by Freeman right into traffic, and Pola, who thought he had a clean block, is called for the foul.
Hannes Pola is one big person. DJ Harvey coming back off a microfracture surgery. Pola just brought the arm down, so if there's any, once you bring your arm down, if there's any contact, then it's called. And if he had gone straight up, even though there was body contact, it would not have been a foul. It was the body contact and the arm having come down. That's almost an automatic call in the college game.
Harvey, the sophomore, had a career-high 19 points in Notre Dame's last game. It was a week ago as they survived the Illini, 76 74. Notre Dame, like Oklahoma, is 6-1. The Irish only loss is to Radford, and that was in South Bend. But keep in mind, Radford won at Texas as well.
Radford's really good. Mike Jones, the head coach of Radford, but Carleek Jones is a really good player. Ed Polite Jr. is a really good player, can really rebound. You know, to have those kind of quality wins for Radford speaks really well of the Highlanders.
Robbie Carmody, the 4th member of the freshman class, checks into the game for the first time for Notre Dame as Pfluger gets a breather. The first thing you think about is, well, he's got to be related to Bill Carmody, but he is not related to Bill Carmody. And tell us a little bit about this freshman class Notre Dame has. What does Mike Bray got here?
He's got a lot of skilled players that are completely unafraid. And Mike Bray, over the years, has not been playing a lot of freshmen, or at least this many, and relying on them in the starting lineup or first guys off the bench. But he's got a bunch of guys that are very, very skilled, and they can really play.
Pola turns it over. Carmody leads the break. Harvey. Wow.
Carmody not related to Bill Carmody, and Harvey not related to Paul Harvey nor DJ Harvey.
Loved Paul Harvey. Now we're really dating ourselves. Odom's working hard, and it doesn't pay off for him. And Mooney down with his 11th rebound of the night. Gibbs with a little change of pace. Good defense by Matt Freeman. And then it's out of bounds to Oklahoma. Don't forget, we've got game 2 from the Jimmy V Classic coming your way from Madison Square Garden later on tonight. The second game will feature Florida and West Virginia. Dick Vitale will join me for that game. You can also watch it live on the ESPN app.
We got a good look there at Lon Kruger and Mike Bray down at the other end. I think you mentioned it before. Not only 2 outstanding coaches, but 2 of the best guys you would ever want to meet. And I can't believe there would be any parent of a player that can't say, boy, man, it's so great to have my son around these guys every single day. Two of the great guys in all of basketball.
And kind of interesting, they've never coached against each other before tonight. 2 guys who have been around as long as they have. Foul going against Oklahoma. It'll be on Odoms.
Well, Lon Kruger was a great player at Kansas State. He played for Jack Hartman. He's also a great baseball player. He's drafted in the major league draft in baseball, also drafted in the NBA draft, and found out today that the Dallas Cowboys actually asked about Lon Kruger trying out for the Cowboys.
It's kind of frustrating for like regular folks like me when he does his worst thing better than I ever did my best thing. It's just not fair.
Well, you're a better broadcaster than he was.
I don't know. He could come over here and be better than both. He can do anything, apparently.
I've already asked him. He said he was busy.
He actually pitched for a year in the minors. As you mentioned, he was drafted and spent a year in the minors, but from all accounts was a tremendous baseball player as well, as you said. Hub, a little push off on Manick, got away with it. The lefty goes up with a right hand and draws the foul. Manick back in.
How can you not like Prentice Hub? This kid's versatile. He's skilled. He just knows how to play. Really good off ball screens. He takes his time. He just doesn't blast off those things, and has really good vision. I think he's a good defender as well. He can make plays at both ends of the floor. Went to Gonzaga High School in the DC area. You know who one of his teammates was? Chris Likes at Miami, who's one of the best small players in the country.
One of the fastest men alive as well. Prentice Hub didn't play his senior year in high school due to a knee injury. So he and DJ Harvey, who was coming back from his own knee injury, when the Irish went down to the Bahamas for a summer trip, play some games, get some extra practices in, they didn't have Hub and Harvey available to them as Calixte knocks it down to put Oklahoma back on top.
Calixte, the grad transfer from Maine. You know who else transferred out of Maine?
I do not.
A guy named Rick Carlisle transferred from Maine to Virginia back in the day, and he has done pretty well for himself.
Yes. 4 minutes to go, first half, game 1 of the Jimmy V Classic. 3 freshmen on the floor right now for the Irish.
Got to get a shot up,
and they don't. Timeout on the floor. 1-point game here in New York. At some point by this dreaded disease, and anything that can be done can help.
Really, the most important thing that ESPN does is V Week and the V Foundation, and every dollar donated goes straight to cancer research.
Nice drive by Calixte to extend the Oklahoma lead to 3.
Well, that was Calixte getting the ball into the paint, and that's really where Oklahoma, if they are going to win this game, where they have to win it. And thus far in the ball game, it has been Notre Dame winning the paint. They are winning the offensive glass, and they're winning the turnover battle.
Mike Bray's brought Rex Pfluger back into the game, the stabilizer for the Irish after they struggled without him. And there's Juwan Durham doing what Juwan Durham does best.
And it's what Juwan Durham has to do. We talked about it before. He's got to screen, he's got to roll hard, and he's got to protect the rim and rebound. I'll tell you what, he played very well against Illinois. Wound up with 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 blocked shots against the Illini. Those 5 blocks were a big factor.
And they've got him for 2 more years after this, and he protects the rim again. Notre Dame ball.
Looked like that was a foul. There was an awful lot of contact there.
And Reynolds behind the play. It's 5-on-4 if they recognize and could hurry, but not anymore. But they'll still get the bucket. And how about the big man Durham doing it at both ends?
Blocks the shot, runs the floor, and then gets one-on-one in the post. No double team. Took advantage of it. Great pocket pass. Wow.
That's grad transfer kind of stuff right there, isn't it, from Calixte?
Really beautiful. Yeah. Came off that little elbow ball screen by Doolittle and just dropped it right off to him in between the 2 defenders.
And Pfluger fouled by Reynolds. 2:27 to go in the first half. Oklahoma leading by 3. Coming up with the Dodge halftime report. As you all know by now, Urban Meyer has decided to step down at the end of the season, and also a preview with Reese, J. Will, and Coach Greenberg of our second game tonight between Florida and West Virginia.
Notre Dame's got to get TJ Gibbs going a little bit.
Harvey trying to drive on a Manick, and he turns it over. Now a 3-on-1 for Oklahoma.
Good pass.
Calixte fans out to the 3-point line, and another example of how the game has changed. 15 years ago, it's get a layup. Now it's get a 3.
You're darn right, it's get a layup. But the attack of the basket is what really opened that up. And shooter runs right to the corner to flatten out the defense. That was really well run by Oklahoma.
In and out for Pfluger.
But you know, that all started with a bad shot by DJ Harvey. You know, he went 1-on-5.
Wow, pretty impressive stuff there from James on the pull-up.
It does not take long when you make mistakes on the offensive end for you to give points. So it really hurts your defense. Your offense has to help your defense, not hurt it. Really allowed Oklahoma to play ahead of Notre Dame's defense. When it's been 5-on-5, Notre Dame's defense has been good, but you allow a run out. You can't defend a run out.
And there's the 7-0 run that happened in a hurry for Oklahoma to extend their lead to 8. The Sooners have led almost the entire first half. First time ever that Oklahoma and Notre Dame have ever met in basketball. I think both programs would be pretty excited to meet in football in January, but that's another story.
Really beautiful play on the out of bounds underneath. Just a little screen for the screener, slip to the basket. Really good stuff there.
Calixte, nice look to Manick, and he'll knock down the corner 3. His third 3 of the game.
We got some butterfly stitches and then knocks down a 3 when he comes back in. That's good stuff. Good pass.
Goodwin was bothered by Manick and couldn't finish. Boy, Calixte does a nice job just running the offense, moving the ball, and getting everybody set up.
Well, he plays so low. It's hard to stay in front of him.
Now he turns it over. And reaching it with the foul is Doolittle.
Take a look at Brady Manick calling for the ball. You had 2 defending 1. You're asking Goodwin to defend 2 guys on the weak side. He had to choose between James and Manick, and the right choice was made by the offense to find the open Brady Manick. And when he can get his feet set, he's got deep range and can absolutely drill it.
He is 3 for 3 from 3-point range. Oklahoma as a team is an impressive 7 for 11 from 3-point range tonight.
Yeah, that's really been the issue for Oklahoma. They've shot the ball so well, but they've not won the battle of the paint for a time. They've been losing the turnover battle, and they have to do a better job on the glass. They're the team that should own the paint in this game. And then the question is, can they defend Notre Dame's perimeter game? But they've shot the ball well. Actually, Oklahoma shot it much better from the perimeter than Notre Dame has.
And they're up by 8. There's John Mooney with that free throw. Now a double-double in the first half. Well, you just think when you think without Bonzie Colson and Matt Farrell how much it has changed for the Irish, and both of these coaches really, with Trae Young being gone for Oklahoma, both of these coaches still learning about their teams. He said I said Bill has said that you'd be one of the, a great guy to have a beer with after the game. And he looked at me and he said, depends who I'm having the beer with. Now, he didn't specifically say, he didn't say that he meant you, but he didn't say he didn't mean you. So I think it's up for interpretation.
Yeah, well, I know how you're interpreting it.
About a 6-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock.
That's an offensive foul. Just not a good idea there by Christian Doolittle. You have to just go up there, and Oklahoma went too early. I mean, they didn't allow him the opportunity to get set, and that's a point of screening is a point of emphasis this year. So now all of a sudden, Oklahoma with the chance to go up, to have 45 or 46. Now they're giving Notre Dame an opportunity to get the last shot.
And Doolittle picks up his third. Gibbs almost lost it, and now he and Manick get tied up. The arrow will keep it with the Irish.
Well, that may seem like a small thing, but for Notre Dame, they could have gotten the last shot of this half and the first possession of the second half. Now with the arrow, they've given that up. And those are those runs that you can get going in a game that a lot of people might not notice, but those things add up toward the end of the game.
Mooney gets a look from 3. And the first half comes to a close with Oklahoma holding a 7-point lead on Notre Dame.
Brady Manick right in front of us to inbound the ball for Oklahoma, and that gash over his eye is nasty. Got a switch here.
Calixte with Mooney on him, and a turnover stolen by Pfluger.
Boy, nice job by Mooney to stay in front and stay big and make it difficult for Calixte to find an open man.
Still lots of time, 15 on the shot clock. Pfluger probing, Calixte staying with him.
Good throwback.
Mooney can shoot it from out there, misses the 3, and James down with a rebound for Oklahoma.
Mooney's a good shooter. He's got a little hitch in that shot, but he knows how to shoot it. I mean, even though the form is not perfect, he's perfect with that imperfect form as to how he shoots the ball.
Boy, James with a nice pull-up game. That's the second or third time we've seen him do that tonight.
Well, he got the switch, got Mooney on him, and then didn't go too fast, just kind of isolated him and then took him off the dribble and pulled up.
Matt Freeman starts the second half for Oklahoma and comes up with a block right there because Christian Doolittle picked up that third foul in the last seconds of the first half.
Well, that's maybe one where Hub would have been better off just keeping that Nash dribble, take it to the other side, pass it back out.
Calixte with a step back, and this is the largest lead of the night for the Sooners, and it looks like Mike Bray wants an early timeout.
Well, they've gotten him off the switch twice, attacking John Mooney. First it was Christian James, then Calixte.
I think Mike Bray changed his mind. He was talking to the officials, signaling to Gibbs to come over. Then he put the brakes on that timeout. Hub. And nobody on the glass for the Irish.
Yeah, it's been 1 and out in the second half for Notre Dame. The 2-3 zone right now for Notre Dame.
Freeman can shoot it in and out. Gibbs wide open, and that's a big bucket for Notre Dame.
He's the guy that has to get going. Oklahoma did a really good job on TJ Gibbs in the first half, and this defensive change going to the 2-3 zone will keep Notre Dame out of ball screens and switches. Keep John Mooney down near the paint instead of out top guarding little guys.
Freeman with a jump hook off the back of the iron. Yet another rebound for Mooney. He has just tied his career high with the number 12.
When Notre Dame gives them a different look, all of a sudden they get 2 stops. Things look a little bit different. Good pass inside.
Mooney with a turnaround, and it'll go. And Notre Dame back within 6.
And Notre Dame knows that they can put points up, even though they're young in spots. They just keep playing. Not a good shot. You want to probe it.
See, that's one where get the ball into the paint. Get a paint touch. Get it inside the defense, and then you can kick it out for that kind of shot, and all of a sudden that shot's taken in rhythm and not sort of a forced shot.
Mooney again over Freeman. Back-to-back buckets for the junior from Orlando, having a big-time night, and it's a 7-0 run for the Irish.
Right now, the Oklahoma zone attack's got to get better. Ever since Mike Brey switched to this 2-3 zone, Oklahoma has not scored. And there are openings in the middle of that zone. See the paint touch now, that's a good three.
Freeman over the back.
John Mooney, the 6'9" junior from Orlando, Florida. He is leading Notre Dame in rebounding, offensive rebounding, and three-point field goal percentages. But Mike Brey told Allison Williams at halftime they need to start getting the ball inside to Mooney, flatten the defense out a little bit, play inside out. And heck, Mooney doesn't have to throw it out. He can score down there.
What a night for him so far. 15 and 12 early in the second half.
How nice to have your career high in rebounding Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. There's a lot of time left. He's going to get a lot more rebounds.
Harvey shut down by Calixte, gets the switch and misses the three.
Not a good offensive possession for Notre Dame. They settled.
Boy, James doing a really nice job rebounding the basketball for Oklahoma. Manek telegraphed it. Pfluger's got another steal. Ahead to Gibbs for the lay-in.
Boy, what a pass by Rex Pfluger. A terrific steal. He's been so active in this game on the defensive end. Pfluger's not been a scorer, even though he put 20 points up on the board against DePaul. But he has been an impact player with his energy and his defense.
Manek calling for it, didn't get the ball. He was open on the wing for a moment, but Calixte didn't see him.
Good pass.
And Freeman converts.
See, that was by far the best zone attack. The ball moved from side to side, and then Calixte got the ball inside and got into the paint and was able to dump that off. That's a paint touch that resulted in an easy shot.
And it snaps a 9-0 Notre Dame run. And nobody there.
No, the guy in the second row was open.
Oh yeah, that $1 million in support. You can do whatever you can do. Donate now with v.org/donate. All donations go directly to cancer research.
And I can tell you, Dan, I am one of those loyal consumers.
I have seen you consume their products.
I will be loyally consuming as soon as this game is over.
Durham is fouled, and Doolittle, who just came back into the game, picked up his fourth. Let's go to Allison Williams.
Coach Kruger reminding his guys they got to keep moving the ball against Notre Dame's zone, and if there's an opportunity to drive, he wants them to take advantage and drive the ball. Continue also to fight for rebounds on the defensive end. But interesting, guys, he never talked about the turnovers because he didn't have to. It was the players getting on each other about turning the ball over and telling each other we have got to take care of and value the ball.
How much does a coach like it, Jay, when the players hold each other accountable?
I think they like it a lot. And oftentimes, you know, players saying something to other players can be more impactful than the coach saying it. So, you know, that's a great catch by Allison Williams. That's an important factor in how teams operate. And
I like the way that this Oklahoma team, how balanced it is and how they get along together. You know, they were good last year, had some really good games and good moments, but they rely on each other a lot more this year.
Pola with deep position, can't finish. And down with the rebound is Goodwin. A 1-point lead now for Oklahoma after they were up into double digits with the lead earlier this half.
It's just Goodwin going a little bit too fast. Good drive, but too fast.
Reynolds no. Down with the rebound is Durham, who has given Notre Dame some really good minutes off the bench tonight. Hub. Durham keeps going, and he slams it home.
Best athlete on this Notre Dame team, just proved it right there. The transfer from UConn, and that's how he can impact the game, running the floor. Yeah, he's a better runner than Pola.
Manek at the elbow, nice look to Reynolds. Oklahoma back on top.
Really good ball movement by Oklahoma.
You like Manek as that guy in around the top of the key against the zone?
I like Manek anywhere you put him because he can catch and shoot. You have to go out and guard him. Now he switches out on Prentice Hubbs.
Goodwin driving into the paint and fouled. I think it's going to go on Pola. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe Bieniemy.
Boy, Hub doing a nice job in transition. Doesn't take it too deep into the paint, but just he knew that Durham was behind him, and terrific job to get the ball into Manick. Manick turns and immediately looks opposite, and that's just what Allison Williams was talking about out of that last timeout for Oklahoma. You can drive it or pass it, but you have to get it into the paint to collapse that zone defense.
Manick another three, and Reynolds rifled the pass across the court to get it to him.
Middle of the zone, playing out at the three-point line. Taking one in the chops and coming back. Brady Manick's done just about everything in this game. Has rebounded very well, switched out on guards and defended.
And Mike Bray is going to bring a couple of his upperclassmen back into the next opportunity.
One-on-one in the post.
Durham, nice shot.
Going up against the big and wide Hannes Pola. And just a little fadeaway from Durham. He's having a really nice game.
And again, Oklahoma without Jimani McNeese out tonight with a foot injury. Reynolds.
Well, Oklahoma did not score there, but that was good zone offense. When Manick gets the ball in the middle, he can turn, he looks at the basket, and you got to guard him because he can really shoot it. And then when he looks at the basket and draws the defense, then he can kick it opposite and find another open shooter.
That's a great night.
And it's not over. There's a long way to go.
Yeah. As you mentioned earlier, put on some weight during the summer, 15 pounds stronger, and a much better rebounder this year.
That was a little cross-screen screen for the screener, and did a good job of getting one-on-one in the low post on that little cross screen. But Oklahoma is switching that, and so Notre Dame's got to look to slip some of those because they can take advantage of those switches. Good shot fake.
James can't knock it down, though. Durham tries to run it down. The ball's loose, and it belongs to Notre Dame. The Irish with a chance to reclaim the lead.
With so many young players out on the floor for Notre Dame, Oklahoma needs to continue with the shot fakes and ball fakes, and then they can really move the defense without having to pass the ball.
Durham draws the double team and then turns it over. Stolen by Bieniemy. Reynolds up ahead of the pack.
For the first time that Oklahoma's come with the double. I don't know whether it was planned, but it was certainly well executed, and that forced a quick pass by Durham, turned it over. Easy bucket.
Driving Pfluger, blocked by Pola, finished by Durham.
Anytime that Pola comes over, you got to get a rotation down.
James 1-on-3, and he spins it up and in. How about that?
Well, that was a strong move by Christian James. He's having a great year. All tournament at the Battle for Atlantis in the Bahamas.
Senior season for James out of Houston, averaging better than 19 points per game. Jawan Durham, meanwhile, at this end, has scored the last 8 points for the Irish. They go to him again.
Good pass.
Hub is open. And Goodwin is fouled on the follow to take us to a timeout. Oklahoma leading by 3, getting a big night from Brady Manick in a number of different respects. And when we come back, we'll have a look at who, well, quite frankly, who Brady Manick looks like.
He didn't look like him last year. He does this year. Worked out pretty well for the guy on the left, I'd say.
What's in the bag?
Burgers, fries.
I'll play you for it.
You and me for my burger and fries?
First one to miss watches the winner eat. Now remember, no dunking. Off one knee.
Which knee? Off the scoreboard, off the Big 12 sign, number net.
Off the jump man, off the glass, called bank. Over the head, off the press box, onto Lindsay, into the back of that truck, down to the arena, into the LNC, nothing but net.
Brady Manick and the Sooners having a lot of fun with his resemblance to Larry Bird, recreating that famous McDonald's commercial with MJ from back in the day, using CJ though for them, Christian James. Manick said he's just decided to kind of go with this. Like coaches pointed out the resemblance when he still had the buzz cut. He was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go all in, grow out my facial hair, my hair. He even bought a Larry Bird shirt, wore it to a football game. So they've been having some fun with it, but no word yet from Larry Bird. He hasn't reached out to see if he approves yet. But I will say, guys, He is on track to match Bird's debut in Madison Square Garden. He had 19, Manek with 14.
Wow, heady stuff for the sophomore Brady Manek. James open, and he knocks down a three to extend the Oklahoma lead. Why not if you're Brady Manek, right? Run with it, have some fun with it.
Heck yeah. Notre Dame with a little 1-2-2 three-quarter court press. That's really a tempo press for Notre Dame, and really handled well by Oklahoma to get a wide open three.
And Christian James having another terrific game.
Luger tripped over the foot of Bieniemy, it looked like, and Bieniemy is called for the foul. Don't forget, Florida and West Virginia still to come in the second game tonight from the Jimmy B Classic. That's the 5th foul committed by the Sooners here this half. Notre Dame has yet to commit a quiet night for DJ Harvey, but he'll make a little noise right here.
See that drive much better by DJ Harvey because it came off a couple of passes where they moved the defense.
And Harvey down with a rebound at the other end as Notre Dame looks to tie or take the lead. Mooney. Pretty good defense there by Freeman, and over the back goes Harvey.
Notre Dame moves the ball, then gets it to one side on the reversal, gets it back out. See, it's a little ball screen. They drag the defense, move the defense again, get some switches. Now all of a sudden, as the ball's being reversed, with that little jab step, Brady Manek shoots to the left, and it opens up a terrific drive for DJ Harvey.
You never know what the future holds for these two teams this year, but conceivably, Jay, a game that people might be looking at the end of the season as Freeman buries the three. You know, if these are teams vying for an at-large, are they on the bubble? They might be better than that. They might be worse than that. We don't know, but this would be a nice win to put in their pocket this early in the season.
Well, it's a Power 5 game in Madison Square Garden. I mean, this is a big game for both teams. That's what DJ Harvey does best.
He is a really good mid-range pull-up jump shooter. But Notre Dame's got to get a hand up. Right now, arms down by their sides, and they're frankly getting picked apart right now.
And Manek with a clean look. Brady Manek is now 5 for 5 from three-point range.
Maybe there's something to this Larry Bird thing. You know, he has not been shooting the ball as well as he's capable of to start this season, but Lon Kruger says that Brady Manek's been shooting it pretty well in practice, and he's certainly shooting it well today.
And TJ Gibbs with an answer for the Irish.
And even though Oklahoma is shooting the lights out from three-point range, it's a one-possession game in large measure because of the turnovers. Notre Dame not turning the ball over. Oklahoma coughing it up a little bit.
Wow. Freeman knocks one down, and the Sooners are a ridiculous 13 out of 21 from beyond the arc.
Boy, that was big. That's 2 threes in a row for Freeman, who had 11 points against Wofford. Good pick and pop, big guy.
Junior from Auckland, New Zealand. He can really stroke it from the outside, and the lead back to 6 for the Sooners. Mooney keeps it alive, but eventually Odoms has it for Oklahoma. An older Oklahoma team, a younger Notre Dame team, as these two programs meet for the first time ever. Freeman was open, this time passed it, but he'll get it back.
Well, that was a really good shot that Oklahoma got
going on against the Notre Dame's man-to-man defense. They are moving the ball really effectively. It's really pretty to watch a team that's so unselfish.
Gibbs into traffic, up and in.
And did it through contact.
So they're getting some second half offense now from one of their leaders, TJ Gibbs. He's got 13.
Notre Dame needs a stop here. Got to switch. And switch, you can drive.
And Mooney forced to foul Bieniemy before the shot.
Well, Matt Freeman, the 6'10 junior from New Zealand, now living in Norman, Oklahoma, and living at the three-point line. Knocking that one down in rhythm, and Brady Manek's been doing it all game long. Terrific pass from Freeman, and when he gets his feet set, Larry Bird!
Dan Shulman, Jay Billis, Allison Williams at Madison Square Garden. Game 1 of 2 from the Jimmy V Classic. As Manek misses his first 3 tonight, gets another look and misses again.
Well, really good out of bounds play run by Lon Kruger to get Brady Manek that shot on the side. That was a contested three-point shot. The second one off the offensive rebound, wide open, and usually he doesn't miss those.
Still 5 threes and a game-high 17 tonight for Manick. Leschewski gets it on to Hub. 8 on the shot clock now. Hub from the corner. Tough shot.
He's really struggled on the offensive end. At times, he's been sped up by this Oklahoma defense. But Prentice Hub is a good player that's only going to get better and better. Good pass. See, that's where Odom should have attacked right away.
Instead, the kick to Freeman, who's had the hot hand.
The Sooners are shooting it. And to be able to do this in Madison Square Garden, how cool is this for Oklahoma?
Matt Freeman having himself a night. Came in averaging 3 points per game in 11 minutes per game. And he's made 3 threes and has 11 points tonight.
He was 6 of 12 from three-point range coming into this game. But he is just catching and shooting with his feet set. And Juwan Durham's got to move his feet to get out there and move as the ball moves in order to be there on the catch.
Let's bring in Allison.
Dan, Mike Bray told us how Rex Pfluger, TJ Gibbs have had to do a lot of the heavy lifting with how young his team is. It's been really cool to see that dynamic in the timeouts. And the first half, it was Rex Pfluger who was really vocal during the huddles. And just now it was TJ Gibbs. And he just told some of those young guys, you got to lock in right here. This is where the game matters. He said they're going to keep coming. We have to come at them even harder. It's a new role for Pfluger and Gibbs, that leadership role, but you can see how they're embracing it.
Yeah, with so many young players on the team. And again, this is the first game away from home for Notre Dame this year. Mike Bray knew he would have a very young team, so they started the season, Jay, with a 7-game homestand, went 6-1, and now they come to New York, and it's not a road game, it's a neutral site game, but still their first game in a different environment.
The last time that Notre Dame started a season out with 7 straight home games was 1986. You know who the coach was back then?
I'm guessing it was Richard Digger Phelps.
One Richard Digger Phelps. He had a great team. That 86 team had David Rivers and Kenny Barlow, Donald Royal, Tim Kempton. That was a really good basketball team. But they wound up actually losing in the first round of the NCAA tournament to Arkansas Little Rock.
Freeman's open again. Pfluger down with a rebound for the Irish. Just over 5 minutes to go. Pfluger driving. Good extra pass.
Boy, and Oklahoma in transition defended very well.
5-out offense right now for Notre Dame. Nobody can get a shot off, though.
Well, the ball's sticking right now. Everybody's catching it and holding it instead of catch it and move it.
So Harvey forced to create, and he does.
Well, he does. He had to make a really tough shot. But you can see the difference in how the ball's moving. When Oklahoma's on the offensive end, they catch, pass, catch, rip, or catch, shoot. There's not catch and hold.
And you can see the difference in the assist to field goal ratio for the two teams. Oklahoma's 19 on 28, and the Irish are just 12 assists on 29 made field goals.
And it's primarily because the ball's moving.
Calixte will do it himself to restore the 6-point advantage.
Boy, what a pretty pivot in the lane. Oklahoma's switching just about everything. And I think Notre Dame's got to start taking on some of those switches. And they have to look to get a slip when they can. There was one right there, and it opened it up for Gibbs and wound up getting him the foul in that 3-point shot. Just that quick slip by DJ Harvey. Aaron Calixte, the grad transfer, 5'11", a former Maine Black Bear, getting the ball into the paint, pivoting back and shooting right over DJ Harvey. Terrific game for Aaron Calixte. Threes than Notre Dame, 14 of 26 from 3-point range for the Sooners. And that's really the difference in this game, is how Oklahoma has shot the ball from the perimeter. And they've worked really hard to get those shots. They've moved the ball. But even with the way that Oklahoma is shooting the ball, I mean, we're just a 2-possession game.
And maybe a 1-possession game if Gibbs can knock down the 3rd and final free throw. Again, fouled on a 3-point attempt just before the timeout.
And the 3-point attempt was made possible by a really good slip of that screen by DJ Harvey. I think Notre Dame has to continue to do that, especially when they're seeing so many switches.
Missed the third. Goodwin almost got the offensive rebound. It's Oklahoma ball. Good matchup here. James and Pfluger. James with another pull-up. Wow. Knocks it down again.
Boy, that was a big-time play by Christian James. He knew it, too. He went to take Rex Pfluger down into the post and just came up to the elbow. There was no question that shot was going up. No question. It was taken with a great amount of confidence, wasn't it?
As was that three by Gibbs. And Mike Bray wants a timeout. Between Oklahoma and Notre Dame. 3:13 to go, with the Sooners with a 3-point lead. Christian James having a heck of a night for the Sooners. 18 points, 9 rebounds. And TJ Gibbs, 15 of his 18 are in the second half.
Boy, awfully quick on the shot. Really good penetration by Calixte, but he got an open shot, just couldn't can it. Now this is a big possession for Notre Dame.
Very small lineup, no Mooney in there, so it's really 5 guards in the game right now for the Irish.
Good step back. Boy, Doolittle switched out on Gibbs, and Gibbs with the step back. I thought he was going to fake that and drive around him. But Doolittle, with his length and he's bigger, was able to really bother that shot. Little flex cut to get James in the low post.
Ball is loose. It was Harvey who tipped it away, and here come the Irish. Hub will split the defense and make it a 1-point game.
Boy, there was so much contact when James was screened right into the low post with that little flex cut. He went up strong, and there was a lot of body contact with no call. Notre Dame turned it into 2 points on the other end.
It has been a long time since Notre Dame had the lead. Hub playing with a lot of confidence, even though he's not shooting the ball well. Christian James just unstoppable with that pull-up.
Well, that's where they have to keep going, is Christian James. Let him touch the ball. He's being guarded by Dane Goodwin, a freshman from Ohio, is Ohio's Mr. Basketball. But you still like the matchup with good play by Pfluger to keep that ball alive. He tips it right to Goodwin. And that's something that's not going to show up in a box score, but gives Notre Dame an extra possession. James giving a little jab step just to get Goodwin off balance. And you just like that matchup. The older player, 6'4" senior from Houston, Christian James, going against the 6'6" freshman from Ohio, Dane Goodwin. That's a matchup that's in favor of Oklahoma, and they're taking advantage of it.
And Goodwin, who had been 10 for 11 from the line prior to that one, misses the first. Mr. Basketball in the state of Ohio last year, a freshman class where they don't have, top 10, top 20, but 4 really solid players who figure to be in the program for a while. And that's why there's a lot of optimism, not only about this year, but in the years to come for Notre Dame.
Yeah, these freshmen for Mike Bray are going to win a lot of games in their time at Notre Dame. Still going with that flex cut to try to get James into the low post.
Gibbs on him now. James will elevate for a three.
He is hot. Christian James has been dominant. It's not been like he's been unguarded or these have been easy shots.
Came in averaging 19. He's got 23 tonight. And a foul as Manick reaches in.
James does such a good job with that little jab step. Just kind of freezing the defender. Shot fake, jab step, and then he goes up cleanly and knocks it down, looks into the crowd. And he is having some fun. Having fun is doing hard things well. And Christian James has done hard things well all night against Notre Dame.
Mooney returns for Goodwin for the Irish. Harvey will go to the line for Notre Dame.
Well, Notre Dame only has 3 team fouls in this second half. That could factor in to the last minute 17 of regulation.
Got an NBA Wednesday night doubleheader coming your way tomorrow night here on ESPN. The first game, Joel Embiid and the Sixers in Toronto to take on Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors, and then former Raptor DeMar DeRozan and the Spurs are at Staples Center to battle LeBron and the Lakers. Our coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Again, a 1-possession game. And Lon Kruger wants to call a timeout.
Saw a little 2-3 zone. And so Kruger going to take advantage of it. We'll see what Notre Dame comes out with after the timeout, whether they come out in the zone.
Oklahoma ball with a lead and 1:10 to go.
Sticking with the 2-3 zone. Get the ball into the middle and then make a decision from there.
Corner three, Manic.
And it was a challenged three. Not the best possession because the ball never went into the middle of the zone. It was just passed around it.
Obviously don't need a three if you're the Irish. Lots of time.
Horn set up top.
Durham back in for Notre Dame. 10 to shoot. Pfluger gets it back from Mooney. Now 5 on the shot clock. Forces it up.
That looked offensive. Boy, Pfluger just put his shoulder down. Might be cramping up a little bit. He's been all over the place.
And James is called for the foul for Oklahoma, his 4th.
Now watch Rex Pfluger. Watch his left shoulder. I don't know about that. That might have been a no call. I mean, what else can James do? I mean, that contact wasn't created by the defense. Look, it's a tough call to make, but that wasn't created by James. That was created by Pfluger.
And Pfluger at the line now for the Irish and does not get the bounce. Notre Dame is leaving a point here, leaving a point there, missing out on some opportunities at the line in a very close game.
And also, if Notre Dame wants to foul, they've only got 3 team fouls. And so they're going to have to foul a lot. And so really this is a game right now for Oklahoma of keep away. It's going to be difficult for Notre Dame to get the ball back.
2 misses at the line for Pfluger. And there's Gibbs called for the foul, number 4 on the Irish.
So Oklahoma not going to be sent to the line until there are 3 more fouls. That's a number of seconds that are going to go off the clock. You want to go for the steal, and then you can foul once it's inbounded. Wow. There it is. 5 seconds. Jeez, that was a poor job by Oklahoma. Got to have a clock in your head and get that ball in. That was not a good job of awareness, not a good job, not a sense of urgency. And Notre Dame knew life.
Gibbs runs down the errant ball. Shot clock is turned off. Gibbs, tough spinning layup. Really difficult look and a push going against Notre Dame.
Great job defensively by Christian James to move his feet, stay in front, and force the really difficult 2. And then he came down with the rebound as well. Cut off the drive, dealt with the spin. Good help. And a really tough shot off that spin move by Gibbs.
And James grimacing and looks like he's limping a little bit as he makes his way towards midcourt. He has played a heck of a game. There's another foul. That'll be the 6th. So the next one will send Oklahoma to the line. That young man has played extraordinarily well tonight and played very hard. Both of those guys have played a lot of minutes and have played very hard.
Yeah, Christian James hasn't spent a lot of time sitting down in this one. Knocked down a couple times, but he's been delivering more blows than he's absorbed.
And now James will head to the line.
Christian James shooting over 80% on the season from the free throw line. And that is one confident senior that's walking to the line to try to salt this game away.
Kind of flexing and bending both legs right now and still grimacing as he heads to the free throw line for 1 and 1.
Well, you wonder if there's a little bit of cramping going on.
Big make on the front end.
Well, he has had some kind of game. It's 24 points right now for Christian James. Got a double-double. He has played extraordinarily well at both ends of the floor. And he is walking gingerly over to the timeout.
Yeah, Lon Kruger checking with him as he uses a timeout. Obviously, the last thing James wants to do is have to come out of the game. And 1 more free throw coming for the senior.
Oklahoma not going to put anybody on the line. Lon Kruger doesn't want to pick up a cheap foul on an over the back. There you see a sub at the table. You'll have a horn, and then they can set up their defense. And Oklahoma's going to go with full court pressure just to slow the advance.
make it difficult, so Notre Dame's got to come back to the ball in order to bring it up.
5-point game. Gibbs has to force it up, not there. Down with a rebound, Calixte, and a chance really to ice it at the line now for Oklahoma.
Well defended by the Sooners. Really good job by Lon Kruger to get the right lineup in. Put in a sub, got his full court pressure set up, and really built a wall at the three-point line so that Notre Dame couldn't get to the rim. Really like the vibe around this Oklahoma team. Obviously a different makeup than the Sooners had last year, but it's got a very blue-collar vibe. Now you got to look for a three and look for it fast.
Hub. And the Sooners will win it. A nice quality win for Oklahoma to go to 7-1 of the season as they hold off Notre Dame 85-80, led by Christian James, who had a monster night with 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists. And you add this to a win over Florida, a win over Dayton. Oklahoma's putting some good wins in the bank here early, Jay.